The fluorescent lights of the county clerk's office hummed, a sterile counterpoint to the storm brewing inside me. My heart was a frantic drum against my ribs, each beat a silent question mark. Ethan sat beside me, the casual slouch of his shoulders, a stark contrast to my rigid posture. We were here to finalize some paperwork, a mundane step towards our grand future, but everything had just shifted. The clerk, a kind-faced woman with tired eyes, had asked for his ID. And he, Ethan, the man I loved, the man who held my trust like a fragile bird, had deliberately, repeatedly handed it to her face down. My name is Chloe Miller. I am 22 years old, still fresh out of college, interning at a bustling marketing firm where I would met Ethan. For the past year, he had been my anchor, my confidant, my first real love. Everything I knew about adult relationships, about love, about commitment, I would learn from him. Or so I thought. Ethan, I whispered, my voice tight, why are you doing that? He offered a quick, dismissive smile. Just privacy, sweetheart. You know how I am about my personal details. But his eyes, usually so warm and direct, darted away, caught on something just past my shoulder. A cold dread began to spread through my veins, an insidious vine choking out the warmth I usually felt for him. We had met in the break room a year ago. He was a senior project manager, effortlessly charming, with a laugh that crinkled the corners of his eyes. I was the wide-eyed intern, thrilled to be in the professional world, eager to learn. He would tell me he was 30. 30. It felt like a significant gap at first, 7 years. My friends had raised eyebrows, my family concerned questions. But Ethan was so mature, so understanding, so right. He listened to me, he championed my ideas, he made me feel seen and valued in a way no one ever had. He bridged that 7-year gap with shared interests, late-night talks, and a profound emotional connection that felt almost fated. He spoke of his past, his experiences, always framed within that 31-year timeline. I had no reason to doubt him. Why would I? Our relationship blossomed quickly. 6 months ago, we made it official. We spoke of moving to Europe, traveling through ancient cities, building a life together where our careers would intertwine with our adventures. He encouraged my dreams, folded them into his own, and painted a future so vivid and inviting, I saw it behind my eyelids every night. I had given him my whole heart, my absolute, unwavering trust. This was my first love, the kind you read about, the kind you believe in with every fiber of your being. But in that sterile office, with the clerk patiently waiting for him to flip his ID, the picture began to fracture. He handed it over again, upside down, with a flimsy excuse about not wanting to make her dizzy. He even laughed, a strained, unnatural sound. I felt a prickle of unease turn into a sharp stab of certainty. My mind raced, trying to find a logical explanation. Maybe he had a speeding ticket, an old address, something embarrassing but ultimately harmless. But the intensity of his resistance, the way he subtly shielded the card from my view, felt more sinister. We left the office, the paperwork half finished, the unspoken tension thick between us. The light outside felt too bright, too revealing. The air tasted stale. Ethan, I started as soon as we were in the car, his usually upbeat music now a grating noise. I need to see your ID. He gripped the steering wheel, knuckles white. Chloe, it is really nothing. Just privacy. I do not like scrutinized by me. My voice was rising, a tremor of anger mixing with the fear. The woman you are supposedly building a life with. The woman you want to move halfway across the world with? What are you hiding from me, Ethan? He tried to deflect, to charm his way out, to make me feel like I was being unreasonable. He turned the car onto a quiet, tree-lined street, pulling over as if this conversation needed a private audience. His hand reached for mine, but I pulled away. The simple gesture, once a source of comfort, now felt like a cage. "Chloe, please, do not make a big deal out of this. It is truly not important." Not important? My voice was shaking now, raw with a feeling I could not yet name but instinctively recoiled from. "You are making a huge deal out of showing me something as simple as your driver's license. That is important, Ethan. It speaks to trust, and right now my trust in you is evaporating." The drive home was silent, punctuated only by the ragged edges of my breathing. The moment we stepped through the door of our apartment, the one we would picked out together, where we would made so many plans, I turned on him. "Show me your ID, Ethan," I said, my voice quiet now, but with an edge of steel I had not known I possessed. "Now, or you can leave." His face crumpled, the mask of easygoing charm finally slipping. He looked exhausted, defeated. He ran a hand through his hair, his eyes scanning the room as if searching for an escape route that was not there. "Chloe," he began, his voice hoarse. "No more excuses, no more stalling. The truth, Ethan, all of it." He sank onto the sofa, the one where we would spend so many nights curled up, dreaming. He pulled his wallet from his back pocket, and with a slow, agonizing movement, he extracted his driver's license. My gaze was fixed on his hand, then on the card as he finally, reluctantly, held it out to me. My fingers trembled as I took it. The picture was him, undeniably him, a little older, a little more tired than the man I knew, but undeniably him. My eyes scanned for the birth date. I did the math. My breath hitched. He was 38, not 31. 38, a full 16 years older than me, not 7. 16. The number felt like a physical blow, knocking the wind out of me. My carefully constructed world, our beautiful future, shattered into a million sharp pieces. Why? I finally managed. The word "a" choked whisper. He looked up, his eyes pleading, desperate. I felt bad, Chloe. About being old. I know it sounds stupid, but I wanted to feel younger. And I knew you would not have given me a chance if you would known my real age. Not with such a big gap, not with you so young. His words spilled out, a torrent of self-pity and confession. I was planning on telling you, I swear. My guilt was getting harder to manage. Every time we talked about our future, it just weighed on me. What I did was wrong, Chloe, I know that. It is not your fault. You're an excellent girlfriend, an amazing person. Everything we shared, it was real. My feelings for you are real. But his words were just noise. They were the desperate pleas of a man caught in his own web of lies. Everything we shared was real, I asked, my voice rising raw with disbelief and pain. How can it be real, Ethan, when it was built on a lie? A fundamental, foundational lie. You lied to me about who you are. My heart felt like it was being squeezed in a vice. The betrayal was a physical ache searing through me. I stood up, the ID still clutched in my hand, feeling suddenly cold and empty. I cannot even look at you right now, I said, my voice barely holding together. I need to process this, all of it. Without another word, I walked to the bedroom, the weight of his lie pressing down on me. I closed the door, not gently but with a deliberate click that echoed the finality I felt in my soul. I leaned against it, trembling, tears finally streaming down my face. The nightmare had only just begun. The reality of it slammed into me with relentless force. I had spent a year, a precious year of my life, my first year, truly experiencing love and connection with a ghost, a carefully constructed illusion. He was not just older, he was a stranger, a man who had intentionally deceived me about something so basic, so intrinsic to identity. He had seen my youth, my inexperience, and he had used it. I loved him. That was the most agonizing part. Even now, amidst the wreckage of my trust, a phantom ache of affection lingered. I felt so foolish, so naive. How could I have been so blind? All the plans we made, the apartments in Lisbon, the trek through Patagonia, the quiet evenings curled up with books, they were all tainted now, reduced to cruel fantasies based on a false premise. The anger was a burning inferno consuming everything, but beneath it, a deeper, more profound heartbreak. My trust, once a boundless well, was now a fractured, parched earth. How do you rebuild from this? How do you look at someone you loved so deeply and see only the deception? I knew, even as the tears blurred my vision, that there was no salvaging this. A relationship built on such a colossal lie, on such a deliberate manipulation, could not be trusted. It was not just about the age, it was about the intention, the sustained deceit, the willingness to let me fall in love with a fabrication. The door I had closed on Ethan was more than a bedroom door. It was a barrier between my naive past and a terrifying, uncertain future. I had to walk away, not just from him, but from the idealized future he had sold me. It would hurt, it would leave a gaping wound, but I would heal. I had to. I would pick up the pieces of my shattered trust and painstakingly, carefully rebuild a life that was truly mine, built on truth, and on a foundation that would never crumble under the weight of someone else's lies. The girl who walked into that clerk's office this morning was gone. In her place, a woman, wounded but resolute, had begun to emerge, ready to face the world with open eyes, even if they were now stained